Oh, my throat. Let me drink some water. Okay, never singing again. Anyways, what a start. Thank you guys for joining me again on another episode of the pod. You know, I'm pretty excited for this one because I came across some things that I want to share with everyone. You know, I came across Mesopotamia and Mesopotamian gods. I didn't know what they were. I didn't know they existed. I didn't know they were a thing, but they are. So let's get started. The Mesopotamia was a place basically where Iraq and Syria is right now. And the people living there were really rich, and two, they were geniuses. So really rich because they built like a bunch of stuff. But one thing they built that was very fascinating to me was something called a ziggurat. And this was a huge temple where they would go and worship their gods, which was cool. And I saw some illustrations of what it would have looked like, and it looked really cool. And it looked like, with people who are rich, that's what it would look like. So that's one thing. But they were geniuses because they developed advanced math and literacy. So apparently that's where everything else comes from, because they created the base 60 system, which is 60-second minute, 60-minute hour, and 360-degree circle. And with their math skills, they observed the sky and the earth and a bunch of stuff. And they turned one earth year to 12 periods. Sounds like 12 months in my head, but 12 periods. And they turned 1 week into 7 days. And they named it after 7 gods. Cool. So that's what they did. They also developed literacy, which would be, they created like some writing forms, which was called cuneiform. I have no idea what that means, but that's what I learned. So, yep. And then they did these things and they lived their lives. And then Cyrus the Great came and took over, and all hell broke loose, and then they're dead. The place no longer exists now. So yeah, that's the end. Thanks for listening to the podcast. But yeah, that's Mesopotamia. A place that I didn't even know existed, but it does. Well, used to, before Cyrus came. So yeah, that's Mesopotamia. But the thing is, it's Mesopotamian gods that is really fascinating. Because they have two primal gods. There's Abzu and Tiamat. And this is Abzu, which is fresh water, and Tiamat is salt water. And Tiamat is like classified to be like the raging sea and like very chaotic and crazy. Just how females are. And then Abzu, that was a joke. It was a joke. Abzu is the king of fresh water and like sea beneath the world. Whatever that may mean, that's what I learned. So they have two primal gods, Abzu and Tiamat. And basically what happened, the two waters came together because they're both, one is fresh water, one is salt water. They came together and pop, they made the sky and the earth. Literally, they made the sky and the earth. And they made Ansha and Kisha. And Ansha is the sky and Kisha is the earth. And they're basically classified as Father Sky and Mother Earth. And those two came together and pop, they made Anu and Ki. And Anu was sort of the god of divinity. And then Ki was the goddess of the earth. And it's believed that rain fell on earth, meaning Anu's seed fell on earth, meaning Anu. Let me not say that. So rain was Anu's seed, and it fell on earth, which is Ki, and she became pregnant and gave birth to all things. Damn, what's happening outside? That's so crazy. But yeah, she gave birth to all things, which is like plants. I don't know if it was living things, like, well, plants, and like, I don't know if it was animals I meant, but yeah, she gave birth to all things. But she gave birth to the Anunnaki. Now this one is crazy. So the Anunnaki is basically the ones who decree, apparently, like the ones who hold the fate of humans in their hands. That's who they are. And there was a lot of them. I think there was like 4 or 5 of them, but there was only 2 who were really significant, which was Enlil and Enki. But it was Enlil who was most worshipped, and everyone loved him. And he was basically responsible for creation of civilization. And he had a wife named Ninlil, and they had kids, and they had a bunch of kids. But there was like Nana, who was the god of the moon. There was Utu, who was god of the sun, and Nagul, who was god of death. And then they had others, but those were the ones that was interesting to me. So yeah, that was Enlil. But the thing about Enlil is, he's crazy. The reason I say he's crazy is basically what happened. Enlil one day couldn't sleep because there was too much noise being made on Earth. So he decided to kill them all with a flood. And that's what he did. He basically killed them all with a flood. But there was one person who survived, and that was Unishpatim. He survived, and his family. And the reason they survived is because Enlil's brother Enkin warned Unishpatim. And that's why he survived, and he prepared himself for the flood, and he survived the flood. And Enlil found out, and he wanted to kill Unishpatim, but his son and daughters told him not to, convinced him not to, and they also told him to make a promise that he would never wipe the earth again, like he did. And he didn't. Yeah. Enlil was crazy. So obviously this sounds familiar, does it not? Does it not just sound like Noah's Ark and the flood in Genesis? That's what it sounds like to me. Because it is. That's what it is. Unishpatim is Noah. The flood happened. Enlil is a god. God is a god. But like the thing is, why it was so fascinating to me is because I didn't know this. Like, I only knew the Bible, what the Bible said about the flood, but I didn't know there was other things out there that related to it, or people said related to it, you know? So yeah, Enlil couldn't sleep, so he decided to kill everyone with a flood because they were making too much noise. So next time someone's making too much noise and you're not having it, whatever goes from there. I'm not encouraging anything, but Enlil did it. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's just really fascinating because, like I said, I didn't know certain things like this existed. Like Mesopotamia and Mesopotamian gods. I didn't know that was a thing. But I do now, and it's just fascinating. I want to learn more about it because I want to find out if there's more things like this, if there's more stories like this. And is it, I don't know, it wouldn't be religion. I don't know what the word would be. But yeah, I don't know, that's fascinating. But I was watching this podcast, and it was some guys talking about the flood. And they were saying how the flood they said the flood did happen, but they said they didn't believe in Noah's Ark and Noah. Because how can all the animals fit on that boat? The boat was small. How can all of these animals, 2 of each kind, clean and unclean, fit on the boat? It doesn't make sense. They're fully just not agreeing with it. Which obviously that's your opinion. You can see it how you want to see it. I'm not going to judge you. But for me, obviously, I believe in what I believe in, and that's the Bible, and that's what the Bible tells me. And I believe in Genesis and Noah's Ark, and I believe that that's what happened. But they didn't believe it. But like, I was fine with them saying like, what? they felt. Like they said they didn't believe it, and that like they were looking into other things, and they were talking about some tablets and like how this was said in a tablet before the Bible was even created, and some other stuff, which didn't really make sense to me, but I still listened to it. But the only thing that got to me was when one of the guys were fully like mocking Christians. And the thing is, I didn't even, I didn't even feel any way about it, because like I didn't get mad. I'm like, how dare he mock us Christians? How dare he say these things about like us? But like, I didn't feel anything like that. I was just all ears. I wanted to hear what he had to say, because I never really thought about how there's people out there who just generally hate or have a passion of hating Christians and religion and stuff like that. It didn't actually come to me. That's not the first thing that came to me. But when I thought about it, I was like, damn, there is people out there, which is pretty sad. But he said some crazy things. And you know what? I wrote it down because I wanted to repeat what he said, because to me, it was mind-boggling. So he said, this is his words. He was like, actually, the interviewer was like, so because of Noah's Ark, they came to the conclusion that Noah's Ark was not real. That's what they think. But then they were like, so why do you think people nowadays still teach Noah's Ark and still writing or speaking about the Bible in Noah's Ark and everything like that and like that? And he was like, because people want to believe in a fairy tale of a heaven instead of having heaven here on earth. Yeah. People want to believe in a fairy tale of a heaven instead of having heaven here on earth. That's why we still talk and teach about Noah's Ark and still speak about the Bible, because it's a fairy tale. Anyways, we'll move on. What else did he say? He said, people are waiting to die so they can live instead of living now. And he said that in the context of like, that's what, in the context of what? No, he just said people are waiting to die so they can live now instead of living now. Yeah. And then he was like, well, if they pray at the right time, then they will be saved and they'll be forgiven and then they'll be able to go to heaven. And then he said, they don't understand what the purpose of what they are here for is, which is to make heaven into earth. And then last thing, wildest one, he was like, we need to be born again in the spirit and not by water being thrown on us, and not by a pastor chucking us or dunking us into cold water. Yeah. I don't know. It's just, I guess ultimately I don't listen to things like this, or I don't hear a lot of it, and I just don't want to half the time. But like, this was the first time I actually sat down and listened to someone say what they had to say about Christians and Christianity and faith and everything. And it was just, to me, I was like, damn, wow. Like, I didn't understand how people could actually feel like this. I didn't know it was like that crazy. I know there's obviously atheists and people who don't believe out there, but I never actually sat down and listened to one person speak about it. And he was not happy. He was like, you guys are basically stupid. That's what he's saying. He was like, you guys are not serious. You don't want to hear the truth. You guys are living in a fairy tale. And yeah, I don't know. It's just, in a way, I guess, sad to see or hear, because like, you don't want to hear anything like that. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, because I don't know.